yours.
Good morning. Let me start by saying that if any of you played cards with Granny, we the family probably owe you money. I guarantee you she cheated. And she would cheat her own grandkids to win. Growing up, we never, whenever we played games or cards with other families, we never knew the right rules. Because Granny had made up her own. I kid, but I'm serious. We're gathered to celebrate a truly remarkable woman. In my mind, she stood like a live oak, majestic, deeply rooted, full of grace and strength, and as net clearly painted, good character. Live oaks, I'm going to butcher this, Quercus virginiana, is their scientific name, feels appropriate with Granny being from Virginia. They're known for their broad canopies, their gnarled, sprawling branches. And much like Granny, their presence is unmistakable. Their limbs twist and stretch like open arms full of stories and history. Just like her reach and the stories that stretched out from her life. These trees, while not quite evergreen, stay vibrant throughout the winter with green leaves. Just like her, she stayed vibrant through all the wet seasons. Steadfast, no matter what life throws at them, they endure salty and stormy. Their wood is strong, it is dense. Their shade offers shelter like she did for us. Their beauty is timeless. It's like the image of the Spanish moss draped across their limbs, soft and elegant, like a scarf around a 1940s bombshell. Which, let's be honest, that's what Granny was, and you'll see that in some of the pictures in the other room. I'm still amazed at some of those pictures and like, why did they let her wear that? Granny lived a long life. She was 2 months shy of 100 years old. And while that's nearly a century, a full, rich, extraordinary life, for us behind, it still feels too short. She used to joke for what seems like the last 15 years, every birthday, every Christmas, this was her last. But she kept going. I think part of the reason she kept going was for us. To make sure we were okay. Especially me. Because her heart in many ways never left my grandfather. And she is finally home with him. She was our rock, our safe haven. For my sister and me, at Allison Tucker, was the one place we always called home. Our parents were all removed due to the baby life as well. We lost my mom's parents when we were really young. But Granny's house, that was constant. Safe. It was home. As kids, Liz and I spent our holidays, often the entire summer, with our parents peeling out to go back home at Granny's. At bedtime, Granny would lie with us, telling us stories to help us fall asleep. She tried everything, stories, songs, Chattanooga Choo Choo. And when all else failed, she resorted to trickery. She told me I could only hear the Tucker train if I stayed quiet long enough to listen. She needed me to shut up. But let's just say I didn't hear that train very often. And now I have 2 talkative kids of my own, and I 100% understand her strategy. Those summers were the best. We'd spend the whole time with the whole family. Danny, we're best friends since birth, just about. Jeffrey, Annette, between your house, and Tasha and Cheryl. Grandma, Heather, my first crush from the house down, born the day after me, same year. And of course, Granny. And then there was Matthew, who was the tiny toddler who lived behind Granny. He was part terrorist, part truck operator. He tried to run us over one day with a toy truck. He was notorious for snatching our badminton rackets or grabbing the watering can as Liz was trying to pour it, just yanking it right out from under her, watering flowers for Granny. But those summers, Granny had us busy. We were at the swimming pool every day, the Tucker pool. We're here. YMCA for tennis, art classes, badminton, croquet, ball games in the yard. Danny and I are actually very happy to report that the front yard baseball diamond has finally grown over. If you look closely for years, you can still see the bases worn into the grass. It drove her crazy. She loved her yard, but she loved it too. As a Southern family, we are no strangers to storms. And Granny, she was the storm. She was the eye, the calm, steady center we all leaned on. She was also the wind and the rain. Strong, unstoppable, an unforgettable force of nature. Maybe one day there will be a hurricane and they will name it Norma. And I hope everybody evacuates that day. That storm, the love affair that built this family that is here today, began with a young Marine from Savannah. The love of her life. On her 18th birthday, as Annette mentioned, they ran off and got married against her father's wishes. The rest of us, every child, grandchild, great-grandchild, we're all here because of that beautiful act. They bickered and they teased, but they danced and they laughed. Granny, so cunning, so clever, could always get Grandpa to think her idea was really his idea. And that is where their adventure became ours. She took us on epic trips. New Orleans, a city she loved and had family roots in. Virginia, Panama City, the Grand Canyon, El Dorado, Arches and Zion National Parks, Disney, short stays, and that mentioned with all of the cousins, the chaos that was. And of course, we can't forget Las Vegas. Liz, you remember that, right? Yeah, you missed that one. I used to give Granny a really hard time anytime we started talking about travel and say, Liz, you were there, right? And Granny would get all flustered, roll her eyes, and huff at me. Annette, I wanted to say you were right there with her for all of those. I remember a minivan incident en route to the Grand Canyon to get a glimpse of a roadrunner on a rock that was probably 3 miles away. Tires screeching, kids flying, smoke from the tires. It was impressive driving. We laughed about that moment with Granny for years. How someone kept all the one-ply toilet paper and soap from the motels that we stayed at. I just want you to know she blamed you. She said that was you. When my parents divorced in 1993, Liz and I were entering high school and middle school. So obviously we were well behaved. But Granny and Grandpa didn't blink. They took us all in. My mom, my sister, myself. No hesitation. So much so, it was easy to forget that Mom was her daughter-in-law and not her daughter. Ex-daughter-in-law at that point, even. They drove us to school, helped with homework, cooked, cleaned, cared, and clothed us. Liz reminded me recently of the time she showed up to Granny's barefoot, and I say accidentally barefoot, forgetting her shoes at home before school. Granny, ever resourceful, taped a pair of her own much too large sash shoes to Liz's feet so that she wouldn't have to miss class. Now, whether that was an act of love or that was just Granny needing a moment of peace and get Liz out of the house, we'll never know. But that was classic Granny. What I remember most about her beyond the adventures, the jokes, the sass, is the love. That love was unconditional. No matter how difficult we were as children, grandchildren, no matter what we were going through, she loved us fiercely and fearlessly. She loved flowers. She loved gardening. She loved to dance, often trying to teach one of us in the kitchen, but mostly with her Marine. Every year after he passed, we visited Granny's grave at Christmas, until this year, when a broken hip kept her from being able to go. She loved coffee, especially in bed. Liz so vividly remembered the sound of the delicate china coffee cup and saucer that Granny used to drink from. It's one of the few keepsakes that Liz wanted. She loved her heritage, New Orleans, her French roots, Virginia, seafood, crabs, oysters, clams, Braves baseball, cheating at board games, cards. She loved color-coordinated outfits, socks, shirts, and sometimes even the shoes were the same color. All matching. She loved her Kahlua, so much so that she marked the bottle with a Sharpie to make sure she could catch if Annette or my mom were sneaking a sip. I used to tease her and call her an alcoholic in front of strangers. She'd get flustered. I am not! She adored her grandkids until the great-grandkids came along. And then we were pretty much replaced. She loved my dog, Tyson. When I started traveling the world, her and Grandpa decided that he was their dog. He slept in their beds. The grandkids did not sleep in their beds. We were not allowed there. We might get the bed dirty, but the dog, he's fine. Tyson got cooked fresh eggs for breakfast every morning. Throwing that out there. She loved to cook. She cooked from the heart. I can remember French toast, cinnamon toast, hand-squeezed orange juice with the pulp strained, and Grandpa's favorite flat biscuits. These are not fluffy. These are not biscuits you would get anywhere else in the world. They are flat. But he had to have them that way, and that's the way she made them. All in the laughter she gave us. She was full of surprises. She was feisty, unpredictable. A $2 biscuit. You never knew what would come out of her mouth next. Like when she asked Liz to take her to an inappropriate store. Because she'd heard about it and was curious. Or when she insisted that every visitor eat something. Poor Charlie went from 6'3", 110 pounds, to soaking wet to over 250 pounds in a summer. Once Charlie and I skipped a school assembly. We snuck out of school, down the truck, and drove to Granny's. Aren't you supposed to be in school? No, there's an assembly. We didn't want to go. Well, she goes, well, come on in, get some pie. At a dinner party once, we were talking to our friend Gary about his Marine service uniform, something. Granny lit up. I love a man in uniform. As you know, she had a Marine. Even the Boy Scouts. And the whole table just kind of froze. It's just classic Granny. And here's the thing. Not only did she say the wildest things, but you also did not know if they were true. She once told a story that got a cousin detention in school for claiming that his aunt worked for General MacArthur. The teacher, who knew Granny, said, I know Norma, she did not work for General MacArthur. Poor Alice. And then there was her fluent French. She was very proud of her French heritage. So when she took us to the skating rink in Stone Mountain, and we met a French-Canadian woman, we were so excited to introduce our French-speaking Granny. Now, that doesn't tell you what we had business talking to a complete stranger, but that's neither here nor there. You can imagine the look on Granny's face when that woman came up and started speaking in French. Turns out, Granny's French was invented. Busted again. She was the caretaker, the entertainer, the legend, safe. She was home. And while you never knew what Granny was going to say next, whether it was wildly inappropriate, wildly funny, or wildly made up, she was full of wit and mischief. And I do believe that is a family legacy. And we never knew what was coming out of her mouth. We never knew. Whether it was true or not, that was part of her charm. But one thing that she said over and over again, that I know with my whole heart was true. And that's how ready she was to be with her Marie. Every Christmas, every birthday, she'd tell us she missed her. She was tough. She stayed strong for us. But she was waiting. And now, she is where she wanted to be. Dancing with him. Thank you for being here to honor the woman who raised us, loved us, and kept us laughing. She touched every one of our lives in too many ways to count. She shaped our childhood. She anchored our families and left fingerprints on our hearts. Granny, go home now. Go be with your Marine. You love that man so deep. I know that you're with him. Probably bickering. And then dancing. Thank you for being our home. We love you.